Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 464
464
of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. Now is the time to start thinking about traveling. The Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival just kicked off, and that's what we're going to be talking about at the beginning of the show anyway. And check them out for the best deals at Walt Disney World, but also Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, which is
anniversary year, 25 years.
25 years, yes. We've been both sailing for 25 years on the line. So definitely check them out. Just head to their website for a no obligation quote.
And as you mentioned, we're going to start off talking about the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival. That was the day before the festival, and this is opening day. Look at this beautiful topiary.
Is this actually opening day?
Actually, that was opening day.
Yes, the day before opening day is when the Encanto topiaries came in.
That's right.
We had been actually invited to pop in here for like 10 minutes prior to all the other guests rushing through.
Yeah, I have never been able to get this kind of footage. I love this. Look at this. Nobody in the picture.
And you have Maribel and Isabella and Antonio and Luisa. And they look so wonderful and
amazing job. And we actually rewatched Disney's Encanto the night before.
Right, just to kind of
get in the
a
mood.
feel. Yes. So obviously these are the new topiaries for this year. Plus, we have other new topiaries in Princess Tiana and then some geese in Canada.
Look at this. I mean, the detail is amazing. And that butterfly at night is illuminated.
And I think it might be even illuminated there, but you can't see it. Isabella, her dress is composed of succulents. And we'll
see a lot of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of succulents throughout the festival this year, which is not normally the case. And it really just, you see those flowers going from her hands, which I think is really beautiful.
I think the only addition to this that we're going to see at the very end is a sign. There's a little signage that...
From the first day.
From the first day,
that's the Epcot International Flower and Garden signage. So you have Antonio has the toucan, and then you've got Maribel's dress, and even little butterflies in her collar, which I thought was a really nice detail.
Yeah, very nicely detailed. What a great way to kick off the festival. And later on in the show, we're going to see this same topiary from above when we take a look at the monorail as we do a little drive over. Monorail over.
And Louisa also looks really, has those strong arms, and you can really see that in this topiary. So now we're looking at Pigment. Pigment is different this year. You've got the purple belly plus... Pigment is created also from succulents, and you can really see it when you go to the side of Pigment. And Pigment did not appear this year until opening day, so
that was not unusual. We've had other years where he doesn't appear until right at the last minute,
but I think not always. And you can see those. He's really beautiful with the succulents going from head to to toe, and then into the tail and arms.
Purple Pigment, I see.
He looks really good.
Yeah, another great job, another changed up topiary for this year's festival.
And there's a lot of changed up topiaries this year in one way or another. And so now Timon, not so much. The Lion King topiaries overall are pretty much the same as what we've seen in previous years. And they are again back near the construction wall. Not far from the Imagination Pavilion as well.
They used to be up in the Africa area for a number of years.
A long time. They were there a long time. And they looked different back then. Just like many of the topiaries, they didn't really, they were just like green.
Right.
They were just plants.
They didn't have, the facial expressions that you see now.
Right. So topiaries have changed so much in the last even like 10 years at the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival. And here we see Simba. And really just such a really nice job on these. And I like getting them kind of from this side so you can see like the Imagination Pavilion and the palm trees and such.
Yeah, it was this was later on in the day. I actually shot this first thing in the morning. Didn't look as good, but kind of went back later and got it. The lighting is everything on these topiaries.
I can feel the heat though. Like it's been almost 90 degrees lately. It's been really hot. So some of the, you've got the flowers in the water here. And now we're in China. And I believe we're looking at the Zodiac, Year of the Rabbit. They did a really nice job here in China this year. It's different than in previous years. You've got the Year of the Rabbit front and center as you get here to the temple. And then the other Zodiac figures are around it. So,
this is definitely the best setup I can remember because it's, as you mentioned, front and center, and there's plenty of room to really look at all the different years.
I think, with the backdrop for all of them, I just think this is the best that they've ever done as far as a Zodiac location.
Now, we were out in California recently, and it was for Lunar New Year, and I could have swore they were celebrating two different...
They were, Year of the Rabbit and Year of the Cat.
So what happened to the cat?
Well, that's like Vietnamese New Year. So,
because it's just the China Pavilion. We're just getting the Oswald.
No, well, not really Oswald, but a rabbit.
The
yes.
rabbit, yes.
There's
a snake.
I enjoyed having both Oswald and Hortensia there, though.
I did too. I think it's time that Oswald and Hortensia make an appearance here at Walt Disney World.
I would like to see Lunar New Year, celebrated right here in the China Pavilion as well.
That'd be great. So now we're moving on to Germany, and there is Snow White, and I see Dopey here. Snow White and Dopey look very similar to what they've looked like in the last few years.
But, Snow White, since 2014, when she got her total upgrade, she was the first character to have the lifelike look that you see most characters now with. Dopey, a few years ago, debuted his, and then the Seven Dwarfs over here, they had been, maybe Dopey might be like 5 years now.
Yeah, Dopey's been around, but then it took a while for the rest of the dwarves to join.
Right, and we knew the dwarfs weren't coming back, the rest of them, unless they were going to get that look as well, and they do. And
they look great, actually. I mean, this is very, very beautiful in person, and even at night with the lanterns lit up, and they're nicely lit now at night.
And it really is amazing to look at the transformation. They used to be just kind of green characters
without a really pronounced face, so it was hard to even tell which dwarf it was back in those days.
Dopey you could tell, but yeah, you couldn't tell who they all were, so you really can now.
And I noticed these picnic tables that I'm kind of walking around were moved.
They were
by the time
on the first day.
Festival opened, and for good reason, because I think there's so much interest in seeing them. It would be difficult. This I kind of like, though, with the little bug there.
The caterpillar.
But do we know who he is?
I have no idea who the caterpillar is. I do not know if it has a name.
Well, he has been on that nose for years.
Since last year.
I think. Was last year the first year?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think just last year. So anyway, we're just kind of looking here, and again, the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs topiaries look really nice. And we were a little concerned about those picnic tables, though, because we're like, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to see them.
Now, you had mentioned earlier about new topiaries.
Princess Tiana.
This is it. Princess Tiana here at the American Adventure. Look at that. Very nice.
I love the backdrop here. She looks very regal. And I love how it's like an archway with plants.
And Denise is moving her hand, kind of like showing, like a motion above her head, but I guess it doesn't translate too well to audio recording.
No. And just look at all the plants there and everything. She just looks fantastic. And she's got on like a necklace and then earrings. And...
I mean, it's so on model, too. I mean, it's such a fantastic job of looking just like in the film.
I think that they work with Walt Disney Animation Studios on this one, as well as Encanto. We saw Roger Gold when we were there for the Encanto.
And Belle.
Topiaries.
I mean, Belle looks amazing as well. We're going to see Belle coming up. So another very nicely on model princess topiary.
Right, and not all the princesses have these nice topiaries yet. Like, we don't have Sleeping Beauty. We don't have Cinderella.
No. We used to, but they were the old
right,
style.
The old style. And they will not ever come out until they have this new type of a look.
Yeah, you kind of can't go backwards at this point, right?
Right, no. I mean, you can't. We used to have Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and a couple others.
And I know this is kind of a jarring change, but at that point, when we were seeing Princess Tiana, we noticed that the Mandalorian with the Grogu, the child here, was meeting at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So we quickly made our way over to the studios, waited a short bit, and we were there for the second ever appearance of the Mandalorian and Grogu.
And I would say the word meeting's doing a lot of heavy lifting. He walks, and everybody follows him.
Look at how
and tries
cute.
to get photos and video with him. And Jeff was right there in the mix. Just you can see here the Mandalorian just kind of. It was pretty busy, and I took some photos in a little video clip, and then I got out of the area. But the thing was, as he came closer to me, there'd be like a swarm of people behind me.
Yeah, you couldn't really get out of the area if you were anywhere near the area, because that could quickly close up, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of the crowd, as you can see here.
And on this day, it was really busy, and we've heard it hasn't been as bad. I don't know what like yesterday was like.
Yeah, this was the first day.
Right.
Of course it's going to be crazy on the first day, but and I have also met them at Disneyland, and Disneyland was not as crowded as this. But again, first day, I didn't think it was that bad. You had a lot of cameras and people like
busy.
us running out
it
there
was busy.
to see him.
And, like Disneyland Paris actually has a standard meet and greet, and we'll see what that is like.
I look forward to that.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to actually have one-on-one time with just the Mandalorian and Grogu.
To see what the difference is. I actually think I prefer that to the walk around because it gets so busy with them.
Well, but the thing is, for this, we waited maybe 10 minutes for him to come out, and I guess those lines have gotten up to 4-hour waits, and it closed.
On the first day, but I don't know about other days. You're talking about Paris.
Paris, of course, yes.
We'll see, because I see DLP report like every day meeting him, so I know they're not going to wait 4 hours every day.
And this is about the ending of the meet and greet. He is heading off stage, and he does interact. He will talk to you, the Mandalorian anyway. And Grogu kind of makes some noises, but he doesn't really speak in any English.
And it's nice. This was a big surprise.
Yeah.
We did not expect him here. There was no rumors that I know of that they were going to be here.
Oh, absolutely
and we
not.
do not know how long they'll be here.
And by the way, Denise, you did a great job. I was actually able to get a picture with the Mandalorian and Grogu. You could have had it too, but I think the bedlam of the moment was a bit much.
Well, I think, other people were waiting.
And of course, after that, we had to celebrate with my favorite, a Ronto wrap. So delicious. And on our way out of the studios, we got to meet Frozone. Not really meet him, but we got to see Frozone. I have not seen any of these new characters in person. I know you went over there and spent a day seeing some of the new characters that are appearing over at Hollywood Studios.
You saw The Incredibles on this day as well, briefly. So then we headed back to Epcot.
Skyliner fun.
Yes.
I missed the Skyliner, so it was nice to take that this day.
Although I think the video is from different days, right? And we have here Mickey and Minnie.
Right.
Because I can tell from the gray sky,
right.
It was not on that day.
It's either the day before opening or opening, so it's only one of 2 days.
We were there for 3 days.
Oh, yes, it could have been one of 3
days.
Yes,
one of 3 days.
True. I forgot about that.
But at least at the International Gateway, they have, some topiaries.
I tell you, that sky ruined my continuity.
And here we have Daisy, and Daisy's looking great at the International Gateway as well. And, so many guests now come in from the International Gateway via the Skyliner or the Boardwalk or, the Yacht Beach Club, etc.
Well, it's a nice entrance, nice way to get in, and there was 0 wait to meet Daisy, and just the short wait for Minnie Mouse up there.
And Minnie, we've seen more now up on the bridge area, like she's moved further up. So here are Belle and Beast, and they sometimes are like one of the first topiaries to come for the festival, but in this case, they were one of the last to be placed. And Belle was one of also the first characters to have that lifelike look, and I think it was around 2017. I
mean, just like Tiana, she is perfectly on model. I mean, you have a trio of great princess topiaries now that you have, you have Snow White, you have Belle, and of course Tiana.
Elsa.
Oh, and Elsa. How can you forget about Elsa? Anna too.
Don't say trio. There's so many characters.
How can I forget about them?
You do forget about them. So anyway, we're just looking at Beast here.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, this
Cogsworth
is new.
Actually is a working clock, although I don't think the time is correct. At least he's ticking.
I thought that was really fun to have.
That's a new development, yes.
I like that they have made changes this year to a lot of the topiaries to kind of plus them.
Right.
And what I was surprised at, though, is that there's no Remy. And I thought we would see Remy back there.
But Remy had been out for
almost
a year. I mean, a very, very long time.
But, I mean, he has a ride back there. Mm-hmm. So they hadn't published a topiary list till like the day before. So we didn't know that he wouldn't be there.
But yeah, as you said, I think it's great that they're constantly plussing, making everything better. Now that we were in France, I know we decided to have a little treat.
I had, it was a, let's see, I think it was a white wine kir, and that is a beignet.
And we should tell the story.
A caramelized beignet.
We should tell the story of why you wanted this particular wine. This is the wine we get when we take the cruise on the Seine River in France. They start off with one of these little. It's like
similar. Yeah, it's sort of like almost like an aperitif before you get into.
I was going to use that fancy word.
Get into the regular wine. And then it's a beignet. Caramelized beignet filled with vanilla cream and glazed with a caramel fleur de sel.
So the best way to describe it would be a creme brulee donut.
At least on the top.
Yes.
That's what it reminds me of. So now we're here looking at the dragon in Japan. That used to be the dragon in China. It used to be the bromeliad dragon in China. But for a number of years now, he has been here, or it. And you can see also succulents. It's the succulents are all over the dragon.
Yeah, and I think they even mentioned that they're going to have a lot more in this year's festival. So I think it's really nice. I think it adds color, it adds texture to him, and it's a plus if you ask me.
Oh no, I think that the succulents are gorgeous, and especially on Figment, for whatever reason I thought Pigment wore them best. But I guess it's really good, especially for, they're going to be out for 4 months.
So we followed our first treat with a second treat.
So we got the Bayou cocktail with Bayou spiced rum, coconut rum, fruit punch, and orange juice, and then had the bananas Foster bread pudding. And normally we would have gotten some regular food as well, but we ended up getting the regular food at Disney's Hollywood Studios for lunch.
I had just had the Ronto wrap, so it kind of threw it off, and you had your Felucian garden spread.
Yes, and these were good.
Delicious.
Both of them were
what
really
a combination.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely delicious. I mean, a nice, strong, rum-based kind of a tiki drink with that bananas Foster.
Very decadent.
That was very decadent.
We walked a lot, though, that day, probably like 20,000 steps, so it's okay.
Over that, I think.
At least.
So now we're here in Canada. We're about to see some more new topiary in just a moment.
So there's new geese topiary. So we're in Victoria Gardens, which is really always a lovely place all year round to visit here in the Canada Pavilion. And here you have 3 geese. And I thought they looked really nice here. It's a little something different. We were told that maybe they had geese years ago.
Yes.
That they tried that. I don't even remember that. So it must have been a really long time. So I just thought they add a really, a little something to the garden.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to see something that's without any kind of IP or anything, just a traditional, classic, and actually a very unique style of topiary here. I mean, you're looking at a flying object with these geese.
Well, butterflies.
Just like the butterflies, right? But I don't think there's any butterfly. Oh, the giant butterflies.
Yes,
That's what you meant.
There's
yes.
Giant butterflies, and then there's a troll, and he's not IP or anything. They're animals. But I just thought they looked very nice. And you don't really see topiaries in the garden, really almost ever. So I thought that was nice in this garden.
Right. I mean, in the past, what they have done is they would have some plants up on the mountain in the background here. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the garden would be extra colorful. Mm-hmm. Like around the house, they would this whole area. They would put a little extra effort into it. But yeah, this was a nice addition. And we had the new Orange Bird sipper. We didn't try the drink, but we do have the sipper itself. And very reminiscent of the old style oranges that they used to sell in the 70s and in 80s. You can even see the Walt Disney World logo.
And we're old.
You mentioned that last week.
Yeah,
we're getting that.
We mentioned. No, we remember that. We remember those.
That, yes.
So we both were kids, or teenagers when we went to Walt Disney World.
So we're going to take a quick fly over around Epcot here on the monorail. We just passed the Encanto topiary.
Very quickly.
Yes. Well, we're gonna only show the highlights. This has been happening, this construction, for quite some time. Not sure what's going there.
It doesn't seem like much. Nothing much has changed. No. And then the refreshment area there.
It's also been kind of like that for a while. I always like the look of the quilt, the flower quilts from above. I think it's most beautiful from above. And this looks like it really hasn't changed in a number of years, really, if you look at this area.
I mean, there's some parts of it that do, like Dreamer's Point doesn't look like it's changed a lot, but the Communicore Plaza area right over here is really coming along.
Yes.
It's going to be a while. I don't know when this will be done. We'll see in a few weeks when when we're back on the loop, maybe we'll see a little changes. And then, of course, we have Journey of Water inspired by Moana that is scheduled to open later this year. It looks pretty done.
Like this whole area looks like it could almost be dropped into Disney's Animal Kingdom, really. I mean, it's very lush, and some of it looks like it would be a nice fit for there.
And there's a ton of trees there now. There's a ton of trees. But
and a lot of pipes for water.
Yes, but it looks like it's really getting close to done, but it's not supposed to open till, again, later this year.
And another look from above of the Encanto entrance topiary, and that is it for Epcot. We're moving to the Magic Kingdom. Yesterday we were heading over to the Magic Kingdom because it was the very first day of annual Passholder previews for TRON Lightcycle run. And before that, though, while we were waiting to go on to TRON and to the preview, we noticed this clock here had changed from how it looked before. It used to have a lot of gears. I'm going to show a photo of it before that you had taken a few months ago. But all the gears are gone. Everything is more straight line now, and it looks more updated. Here's a look of what it looked like before.
But like the numbers look the same. The lightning bolt, in the center there looks the same. So I don't know if it's maybe the same clock just changed.
Oh yeah, I think it's just kind of rethemed to fit in better with TRON. So we were there. We were almost first in line.
We're about 4th or 5th in line, fortunately, for the preview, because the line did get relatively long.
And we're gonna show some of that. We were kind of waiting to be let in. We had gotten there about 20 minutes or so early. We had ridden the People Mover before that, but it's a very quick and easy process. All you have to do is bring the paperwork with you and your Magic Band or your park ticket, and or your annual pass ticket, and they'll scan that and check your name on the list, and then you go in. Pretty quick and easy.
Well, for us, it was really quick.
And look at the line. I'm going to kind of zoom in, but this was maybe 5 minutes after they opened the gate. You could see the line went way back. It's quite the line. And every half hour, they let in a new group. So even though it looks really long, it only takes about 20 to 35 minutes, I've been told from other people who had gone yesterday, that it does move quickly because they don't fill in all of the queue.
And we showed up 20 minutes early, so we waited 20 minutes before. So we still did the waiting.
We just in the hot sun.
Once we got going, we were able to pretty much just get right on the ride. So
this was my 5th time riding the TRON.
And 3rd for me.
And 3rd for you. But you know what's nice is you've ridden from the back row, you've ridden from the front row, and now you've ridden from the middle. So
I prefer the back.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the ride in a second here, and I'm gonna show the how it works, how you get into it. There's a little area where you can put your cell phone or your wallet, and even a hat. We talked all about this. Oh, and there's the group up there, by the way. You saw that when the wall turns to glass. I thought that's a cool effect. But before you ride, though, there will be lockers. And again, we have a much more detailed version of this last week. But everything worked very smoothly. I had a lot of trouble opening the locker last time when we were at the cast member preview. But this time, it worked perfectly. So
I felt like, because of that, I knew how to do the locker. You just hit it with your pass or your Magic Band, and then you open it from the bottom. And like last time, I didn't quite understand. It's dark in there.
Right.
So, once you get the hang of it, though, it's easy.
So I would like you to tell your story of the middle seats here, the motorcycle. We're back on the motorcycles. Yeah. Well, you said it was a little tighter for you here than it was in the front for some reason.
No. I think it's just the way I put my legs in. When it closed, it pinched me more than last time. So I must have put my legs in a different way. And I was very nervous then about that because, it's like, what if you end up getting stopped and my legs the circulation is slightly cut off.
Well, like the time at Space Mountain at Disneyland Paris when it stopped, and we were really tight in that ride, and then I don't know if you've ridden since because it was so tight that you were stuck.
Oh,
remember that?
But I had a big
Hyperspace Mountain.
Yes, I had a big jacket on at that time, and normally I have a lot of stuff with me, so that's why I don't ride it much.
So now we're inside the computer. This is actually really cool. I finally figured out. See, look at the wheel. Our wheels turn to orange to make that effect that you just saw, that free animation effect of the other light cycle coming around. And I thought that was interesting to look down and see. And before, when we rode in the front, I couldn't tell that our wheels were turning orange to make that effect. So I thought that was kind of fun.
And also that back thing that comes down didn't come down for me.
Well, there's give to it. There is give. Like for me, because I was wearing a chest mount to record this,
but it didn't
I leaned
come down
way back.
But it didn't come down at all for me.
Well, I think you just didn't realize that it wasn't down.
I did realize.
Maybe the cast member thought you were going to be in a upright position, but you mentioned to me, it's not quite down. So I pushed it down before the launch, and then it was just fine.
Yeah, so I don't know that it matters, but I like having it there. Like it feels safer for me to.
I like that you have the option of crouching down to be on a motorcycle or to lean back and kind of be more upright on it. So to me, it's more comfortable, I think, to be a little bit more upright. You said to me the other day, yesterday, you prefer the back seat.
I do. I prefer the back seat. I mean, I don't hate the other seats. But I just think the back seat is more comfortable.
And I'm going to show this. I forgot what locker number it was.
I'm 404.
Yeah, you just go to this. You pick what country you want the information, scan your band, and 369. So now I know where my locker is. And
congratulations.
It worked. But I mean, that is really great. The only reason that won't work is if you forget your card, like somebody did last week.
Well, I put the card in the locker, which you're not supposed to do. So
yeah, that's a bad idea. Hard to retrieve it.
I didn't think about it. Now, obviously, I put the card in my wallet, in my pocket.
So we're going to look at just a little bit more of the light cycles. The other guests were really loving it. Most people that were coming off seemed to really enjoy it. I mean, I see a lot of smiles there.
And I mean, it'll officially open April 4th, so we're just under a month away at this point.
And what I also liked is for the first time we were able to take this path to Storybook Circus that was not open during the cast preview. So this is a really beautiful path here. And also there's shade down there. There's nice views. And we're going to see at the end of the path, there is a upgraded new sign for Tomorrowland, which we just discovered on this day here.
But first, game over.
Game over. That means you are done with your preview. And here is a look from the path, and this is at the end of the path looking backwards. If you're coming in from Storybook Circus to Tomorrowland, you have a proper welcome.
Which you cannot do yet.
But when it officially opens, you will be able to do that.
And I guess if you got to that part, you could then go back, but not too long after that, they
as soon as you get to the bushes, you are out. So you're still in there, but then you're out. We're going to take a very quick look here at the change from Splash Mountain to the new upcoming attraction.
Well, Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
That's right.
Which will open, it's supposed to open late next year, late in 2024. That's a while.
Yeah, that is a while. So this is early on in construction. Disneyland's Splash Mountain, by the way, still open. So obviously, and that one supposedly is going to open at the similar time.
They're always very quick. They're actually very quick at doing things.
I thought it was interesting. The Splash Mountain Lightning Lane sign still up over the boards, but the Tiana's Foods here, and you can even see the as we come back there, the Southern Dome Salt Company.
Right, like because it's supposed to be built like on a salt mine. I don't know much about salt mines, but New Orleans is a flat city, or a salt dome. A salt
dome. Yes, because there's a mine next door, Big Thunder.
A salt dome. So it's they had to make it work for the storyline being in New Orleans.
Yeah, so there's a lot more that needs to be done. But, slowly we are, I'm sure that we'll be monitoring and updating on this as time goes by.
And it's set a year after The Princess and the Frog. And I actually am looking forward to it. It's supposed to be a musical adventure with Tiana, Naveen, and Lewis.
And here's a little surprise. It was a hot day, so on the way home we decided twisty treat.
I was not expecting that.
No, we had to have stop. And when I was taking this picture, you're like, eat your ice cream. It's going to melt. And you know what? You were right.
It was totally, it was melting.
And believe it or not, that is another show.
That's another show. Thanks to our sponsor, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Head to their website and no obligation quote.
So much going on.
There is so much in it.
Disney Cruise Line, 25 years. Also 25 years of Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Disneyland Paris is still celebrating 30 years through September 30th.
Disney 100 being celebrated all year at Disneyland.
It's a
lot to see and do around the world.
Epcot Flower and Garden Festival. And of course, we're going to have Happily Ever After back at the Magic Kingdom.
TRON will officially open.
Yes,
TRON
TRON.
Lightcycle Run.
Epcot Forever. You know, there's a lot coming.
It's a big, big year.
It's a good year.
I would make plans sooner than later.
With MEI and Mouse Fan Travel.
Always, always. So, we are going to hopefully be at Disneyland Paris very soon. We do have tickets to the Disneyland Paris annual Passholder party,
yes.
Which should be, it's kind of a scavenger hunt party with shows. It sounds great.
And cold.
Well, it's Paris in March.
But last March it wasn't that cold.
You know what? It's not last March.
I know, but it's not.
It's winter still.
Yes, but last year was more like spring. So you just don't know. Even just this past year in September and October was gorgeous weather for us. But the year before that, a few years ago, it was freezing. We had, a couple freezing days.
Well, you know what? We'll have a great time no matter what.
Of course.
No matter what.
As long as we get there.
As long as we get there, yes.
That's the main thing.
So anyway, thanks again for listening. Have a great week. We'll see you, if not next week, the week after. And
at some point.
At some point, if we can, we'll have a updated show from Disneyland Paris.
That would be very nice.
And then back to normal when we return. Mm-hmm. So, see you very soon.
Have a great week.